You're listening to Get Out and Drive podcast with John, CustomCarNerd Meyer, and Shawn, MrSedanMan Sherrill. We'll be bringing you gearheads all the information you never wanted to know about cars and why they should be on the road and not in your garage. Are you ready to get out and drive?
And we had so many crazy stories talking to Finnegan. It was nuts. We had to break it up into 2 parts. If you didn't get part 1, you got to go back and listen. Oh, well, on to part 2.
Hang on. Look, where do we go from there? Let's see. I had a train of thought there for a second that I deep dove into the thinking of the food trays. And
your train was an Amtrak.
All right. I know what it was. Talk a little bit about Roadkill, favorite episode of Roadkill that you've done. Can you narrow it down to one or a couple? Okay.
No.
I mean, I think it would be tough to do because honestly, it looks like you guys are having so much fun doing that show.
Yeah, and I have a really bad memory, so
okay.
Gotta be honest. I there's one we'll never top. It's one of my favorites because my kids actually watch it. We finally won something. We won Hot Rod Drag Week in a car we built.
Yes,
my Bel Air, and it was the hardest I've ever worked in my life. Least amount of sleep I've ever had in my life, and it actually worked, which was amazing because usually on Roadkill we lose. It's usually our fault, but we lose a lot. So that was great. So the episode where we didn't lose, and I wheelied my way to a class win at Hot Rod Drag Week was pretty rare.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. You guys had to rip the transmission out and rebuild that on the fly. I remember that.
Yeah, I broke a lot of stuff in that car.
Yeah,
I'm still breaking. That car is broken today right now. Actually.
Nice.
Well, if you're going to drive them, they're going to break. That's just
right.
It's a piece of machinery. It happens.
Yeah. I keep finding new and creative ways to do it, though.
Right. Yes, you gotta have creative ways to break parts.
One of my favorite episodes, and it happens to be with the same car with Blasphemy, is when you guys first built that and took it for its first test drive. You like drove it around the parking lot and then headed out on the highway. You guys was going to
North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
that was a different time for Roadkill. We could get away with a lot more.
Yeah. But that was the first episode I watched, and that's the episode that kind of got me hooked. And I got to go back and watch these guys. And I kind of started from the beginning and started watching through.
Oh, thank you.
I just thought that was a great episode, and to have the nerve to drive it around the parking lot and then hit the highway and
nothing
go.
Fell off. That's immediately what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know any better. I just thought, all right, well, why can't we do this?
What could go wrong?
And,
what could go wrong?
It doesn't matter.
Stuff did fall off. It's a regret I have about that road trip. We were on the road for 6 or 7 days, and I don't know what happened, but it got edited down to 22 minutes. There's a lot that happened on that trip that's not even in the episode. In fact, we make it to North Carolina, and we're all excited and high five our friends and have a Corona, and then everybody's like, all right, great. There's the end of the show. I think I might have done a burnout, and then that was the end of the show. So everybody leaves, right? And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna head back to the hotel, and everybody's gone, and then the car won't run.
Oh.
And I'm just sitting there going, damn. Why won't this run? All right. And after 3 hours of troubleshooting it, like rewiring half the EFI, I finally narrowed it down to, like, we have Spark. Like, I've verified that 3 times. We have Spark. It does not want to run. And finally, I'm like, we have Spark, but man, that looks really weak. I go down to O'Reilly's, buy a coil. It won't plug into the coil wire that I have, but I shove a bolt in it and wrap some tape to the wire and put it on there. It fires right back up. After I rewired half the car because I saw Spark, but it wasn't good Spark.
Right.
That was not in the episode. Like, literally, I'm in the dark. Nobody's there. I'm just like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I don't even think I had a cell phone with me. Like,
oh man.
This is early in Roadkill.
Right.
Like, let's put it this way. So, a little Roadkill history for you. When we started Roadkill, we were all on Blackberries.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have an iPhone. And we were sitting there, in the early days of YouTube, like, the videos were only like a minute or 2 long. When they told us, hey, keep making these videos you guys are making, I was like, who's going to watch a half-hour TV show on the internet? We're watching 2-minute cat videos here. I don't understand this, but okay, whatever. I'm like, all right, fine. We'll keep going, and so that's what it was like back then. So when they all left and I broke down, I had no way to get a hold of anybody because I didn't think I had a cell phone with me at that point. Or if I did, it didn't have reception, wherever I was at.
Electrical smoke signals.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
So let's touch back on Drag Week just a little bit, and I should have asked this then. If somebody's wanting to do Drag Week, what kind of tricks or tips or any kind of information you give somebody that wants to do that?
It's the best, worst idea you've ever had. Go do it. It's going to ruin your life. Let's see. The best tip I can give anybody about Drag Week is it's harder than you think it is, and you need to sleep before you leave. You need to test drive your car, because the racing is easy. It's the road trip that is going to punish you. And you need to test drive your car as much as you can, find all of its weak points way before you go to Drag Week. The guys that are successful, and I don't mean the guys that are winning, just the guys that are truly enjoying Drag Week, are the ones that they know all their car's weak points. You know, when they're sitting at a stop sign waiting for kittens to cross the road and it's 100 degrees out and those kittens don't want to go right away, and you're going to sit there for 10 minutes straight with your car idling, and you don't want your car overheating. You don't want your fuel boiling. It's fuel pumps, radiators. Those are the things that'll take you out pretty easily at Drag Week. And so if you can load it all down with all the stuff you're going to have, luggage, tools, everything, and just drive around during the summer before Drag Week, then you can fix everything that's going to burn you during Drag Week, which means you can focus on the things that you didn't know were going to burn you at Drag Week and prepare for that. Because just when you think you've found it all, you're going to break a rocker arm or something.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And unless you have an LS engine in it, it's hard to find parts for, most things. So that's it. Practice. The other thing about Drag Week is, if you are serious about going and being competitive, is to have an actual racing program. Because no matter how much you think you have a street car, we're all doing things to these cars when we get to the drag strip every day to make them raceable. And so, like a pit crew, you need to practice that at home. If your routine is get to the track, jack the car up, switch the street tires and wheels for racing slicks, you need to have all the lug nuts organized, the 4 tools you need to do the job organized. You need to have a plan, for example, Blasphemy, it took a lot to convert it from race mode to street mode. In that car, when we got to the drag strip, I would take the side pipes off the car. I don't think it made it any faster. It just looked cooler. I probably shouldn't have done it. But we would take the side pipes off. We would change the street tires for slicks. I would switch from a small 4-gallon fuel cell to a 16-gallon tank, from street to track. And in the 4-gallon fuel cell, I had E85, and the other tank, I had pump gas. So we're switching fuel. I'm switching the tune in the ECU. I'm switching wheels. I'm dropping the exhaust off. And then I'm changing the blower pulley from a really big one that slows the blower down on the street to a really tiny one that throws all the boost at the Hemi. And that stuff takes time, right? Well, at Drag Week, you kind of run in an order the first part of the day. And if you're serious about this, you want to make a hit as early in the day as you possibly can when the air is good. And also so that if you break anything, you've got time to fix it before the racing is over and you hit the road for the next track. On a good day, it took me a solid hour with my co-pilot to switch my car from street road to track mode. That's way too long. Shouldn't take anybody that long. But that's because we never practiced it at home. We were, when the last time we did Drag Week, my co-pilot was Tony Angelo, who lives in Pennsylvania. I live in Georgia. We were filming a TV show, and we showed up to Drag Week not having slept because we put the motor in the car the night before and chassis dynoed it.
Wow.
And then drove straight to Drag Week with an untested car. And so that just put us behind to start Drag Week. We already hadn't slept. Now we got to Drag Week. We made an epic first pass, and then the wheels wouldn't come off the car. And it took us 2 hours to get the wheels off my car. Like, they were stuck on the car.
Wow.
And so the next thing you know, our little travel trailer is unorganized. The wheels are stuck on the car. We're just trying to hit the road. Next thing you know, we're not leaving till 9:00 at night that first track. And we're not getting into the hotel till 5 a.m. the next day, which just puts us behind the next day at the next track. We're starting later than we wanted to, and it just snowballs. So unless you have everything working right the first day and make a good hit and get on the road, it's going to be much harder for you than it would be for those other guys that literally have a NASCAR type mentality about how to convert the car how to run the car, how to drive the car. You know, or you just take something that's really, truly a street car that you're not doing any of that stuff to. You know, you show up on a new Dodge Hellcat, you know, run 11s. There's a class, and have air conditioning all day, every day. And you're not doing any of that, but then you're missing out on, I think, a really important part of drag week, which is the hotel parking lot at 1 a.m. when you're just getting in there, and there's people standing there passing around a bottle of moonshine, pre-pandemic, and and you're missing that. You haven't experienced the terrors of the highway, the breakdowns, helping other people. You know, if you're in a brand new car and you're not breaking down, you're probably enjoying a lot of drag week, but you're not enjoying those other moments, which is, you know, suffering with everybody else.
Yes.
The experience of drag week.
The thrashing and the no sleep.
Yeah. And that's why I say it's the best, worst decision you'll ever make. Because if you win, you don't get any money. The people that are doing this are just legends in my book. They're going there just for their own ego, their own fun, seeing people, personal records, you know, trying to go as fast as they can, whatever it is, whatever their motivation is, it has nothing to do with money. It's pretty amazing.
Right.
And hard.
Are you planning on doing it again?
I can't this year. We're working. But yeah, I'll go back. I probably won't ever go back again in Blasphemy because they won't let me go any quicker in the car unless I put a funny car cage in it.
No.
Which for me doesn't belong in a gasser. It just looks weird.
Right.
But I'm building a Cadillac I'd like to go back with. It'll fit all my friends and we'll have a good time.
Yeah, so, I've seen that Cadillac. That looks like it's going to be a pretty neat piece.
Yeah, it's slick.
It's going to be fun. I'm really excited about it. Other than the wheels and tires and the stance, it should look pretty stock. And hopefully run in the 8s. And we've set it up where the back bench seat is still in there. It's got a 34-inch slick back there. Actually, it's a drag radial. And the back seat is still in the car. And so I should be able to pile my friends in there and, you know, just go have a good time at drag week, you know. And the car, I didn't build it for any certain class, and it's going to end up in the unlimited class racing 5-second cars.
Okay, good.
That's not why I'm building it, though, so it doesn't really matter to me.
Right.
Anybody
just have a good time with it.
Yes.
That's all that really matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Yeah, like I did drag week where I was really serious, and we can only fit 2 people in the car with all the tools, and it was great. But man, I just think cruising down the road with 4 people in the car would be a lot more fun, you know?
Yeah.
2 people, tools, a hitchhiker, and oh wait, that's a totally different movie.
Totally different movie.
That's a totally different movie.
Good one though.
A big part of your life, car movies were, and car TV shows, and you said Knight Rider and all that stuff. Favorite? You have a favorite television show, movie?
Favorite car movie is definitely 2-Lane Blacktop.
Yes.
There's some other ones that come close, like, you know, Dirty Mary Crazy Larry's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Vanishing Point's really good.
Mm-hmm. The first one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The first Gone in 60 Seconds, though, I got to admit, like, I've tried to watch it. I've never made it through it. I'm a guy that will rewatch 2-Lane Blacktop all the time, and it's arguably a really shitty movie.
Yeah.
But God, the first Gone in 60 Seconds is just hard to watch.
Oh, it's a terrible movie. It's an absolutely terrible movie,
Yeah.
but it's fantastic, and I've like worshipped that movie myself and watched it 200 times.
Yeah, I think John could quote that movie from beginning to end.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, just sitting
Part
there.
of my problem is that body style of Mustang just doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
You know, that and maybe that's it. Maybe that's my mental block for it.
I think I'm the biggest fan of that movie because H.B. Halicki, he built one car for that movie.
That's incredible.
One car. And I have the pre-production picture where he de-skinned the whole car, and he built a roll cage inside of the framework of the roof and the quarters and the body and everything, and then re-welded back on the body back together.
I think that's how my Charger got done. It's a disaster to get the cage out of it.
Yes. Yeah, it's hidden
really
in
heavy.
the roof structure. It's hidden everywhere. And I have a picture of Halicki standing in the center on the tunnel on the floor, and he's standing up waist high through the roof structure.
Wow. Okay, mine's not built that way. Like, it's not hidden at all. But there's legit a 3-inch water pipe, quarter thick wall that's running from the headlight through the fender, through the door, through the quarter panel, all the way back to the taillight panel on each side of that car. Like,
Holy cow.
and I don't know how he got it in there without taking the body panels off.
Yeah, you'd have to.
Maybe you'll like this. Maybe you've seen it. I don't even know. But huge fan of the movie Bullet.
Oh, God.
There's a movie, and I don't know when it came out, but this movie is about, he has filmed Bullet, he has filmed Le Mans, which bombed, I guess, back then.
It did.
And his agent is on his ass to pick the next movie because he needs money. He's going through a divorce. And his agent is like, I need you to pick this movie. I need you to pick this next movie. And McQueen's like, I was supposed to get the Bullet Mustang, and they brought me this bullshit car that's an automatic, and it's the wrong motor, and it's not the car. And until you find me that car, I'm not picking my next movie. Get me that car, I'll pick my next movie. And so this movie, and I wish I could remember the name of it, but it's about
Chasing Bullet.
Maybe it's 3 days in his life, basically, as he drives back to LA. And
I've not seen that movie yet, but it sounds like maybe that's it.
That might be it. And it's a very deep dive into what his life was like at that time, which isn't flattering, by the way. But it was, if you're a McQueen nerd, it's really cool.
Yeah. Any insignificant movies? I've got a ton of them in my brain. Insignificant movies that are accidentally car movies. My Science Project is one of my ones.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Fisher Stevens is so good in that movie.
Yeah.
I can quote that movie line for line.
Right.
BMX Bandits.
Yes.
Which is an Australian movie with Nicole Kidman's in it. She got to be 17 in it. But good cars in that movie. And also a drag boat in that movie.
Really?
Nice feature. Yeah.
I'll have to watch that one.
I have to check that out.
Yeah, I've seen that one, but I never, nobody's ever recommended that one to me before.
No.
So at the very beginning, the kids are out raiding lobster traps, and they pull up this box, and inside the box are these radios that are tuned to the only frequency the police apparently use in Australia, and they take off with them in their little dinghy. And at that same time, the bank robbers are coming in this V-Drive flatty drag boat to pick up the radios, and they realize the kids have stolen them.
Uh-huh.
And this all happens like the first 10 minutes of the movie. So the next 2 hours of this movie is just one long car chase with BMX bikes. And it's great. It's a great movie. I love it. I love it.
I just made myself a note on my phone. I will look for that tonight, and maybe me and the wife will sit down and watch that.
Yes. You'll have to
or maybe I'll sit down and watch it, and she'll be at a different room.
You'll have to handcuff her to the chair.
Yeah.
I'll tell her Nicole Kidman's in it. Maybe she'll watch it.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Exactly. License to Drive. You seen that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Corey Haim. Yep. I remember that one.
Or Cadillac. There's so many car movies and stuff that, like I said, they're like insignificant, but in my brain, it's a car movie. You know, Animal House. That's not a car movie, but there's tons of car stuff in that movie. Mm-hmm. You know, that type of stuff.
Yeah, I'll actually watch older 60s television shows just specifically to look at the cars, because you know the cars are going to be correct then. It's not like a movie made in the 80s where they're going to have stuff that, you know, that wasn't available on cars at that time.
I was just talking about this with somebody before I hopped on the podcast with you guys.
Yeah.
And we both share something in common. We both watch old episodes of Chips just to look at the cars in the background.
Uh-huh.
Right. The same silver 74 Mustang passed you by like 8 times.
Yeah, and it's all filmed in and around LA in the 80s, and just watching people and how they're dressed and the cars that are parked along the streets or on the highway is epic.
Yeah, I was watching some TV show with my wife, and I drawn a blank on what the show was, but I remember the car. There was a 67 Shelby Mustang sitting on the side of the road, just parked on the side of the road, and they're driving down the road, and I was like, I grabbed the remote, stopped, and backed that up. And it's like, look at that, and she's like, just play the show. I'm like, look, it's a 67 Shelby just sitting on the side of the road. And
right, just randomly sitting there.
She's like, I cannot enjoy a TV show with you.
I got a random one for you. So we're all familiar with Knight Rider.
Yeah.
Well, there was a cheesy ripoff of Knight Rider with a motorcycle called Street Hawk. I think it only lasted like a season and a half. However, someone super famous is a bad guy driving a Dodge Charger in Street Hawk, and it used to be one of the General Lee cars, and that guy is George Clooney.
Nice.
Really?
George Clooney plays a getaway driver driving a black Charger, and it's one of the Duke's cars.
That's fantastic.
Interesting.
That is awesome. So we always talk about car breakdown stories. I know you've thrashed together some stuff.
Mike's like got to be the king of car breakdown stories.
King of car breakdown stories. What's the craziest thrash you've done, either personally or on Roadkill?
Craziest thrash, like in terms of like most amount of work and least amount of time, or just what happened?
Something happened, something crazy, something stupid. I mean, you're grabbing stuff off the side of the highway and jamming it on your car to get going.
Yeah, playing MacGyver.
Yeah, MacGyver.
Okay, I'll give you a couple. 95 Caprice lifted on 26s that somebody else built. We were driving it for an episode of Roadkill, and I'm going up the grade, leaving Indio, California on the 10, which is, you're basically middle of nowhere at that point. And a car just shuts off. And I pull over to the side of the road. It's dead. There's nothing there. And what I figure out is that, you know, it's got those horrible battery terminals where it's a bolt 5/16 head through it. And it's got two wires sandwiched together with the rubber donuts, and they're just loose. The bolt was loose the whole time we were driving it. It's now stripped itself out. And I'm like, oh my God, the bolt's wasted, and you know, there's not a lot of threads left in the battery. What am I going to do here? Well, I start walking around because the road will always give to you if you give back to the road. I believe that.
Yes.
And I find a bolt. It's the right thread. Way too long. I'm like, damn, this bolt's too long. So I'm like scraping it on the ground, trying to sand it down. That's not working. Finally, I realized that there's enough empty beer cans and energy drinks laying around here that if I get every pull tab off every one, I can make washers. And so they're not the right hole size. You got to spin them on there and work at them. But I stack like 10 beer tabs into this thing, get the bolt on, and it fires up. And it stayed that way through, I think, the whole shoot for that car.
Hey, fixed is fixed, right?
Fixed is fixed.
It may still be that way. I don't know. But that's not the craziest thing I've ever been a part of. The craziest thing I've ever been a part of was I got into ramp trucks. I find one on, it might have been Craigslist, and it's an 89 GMC crew cab and chassis that somebody in the 80s stretched and put a moving box on and turned it into an enclosed ramp truck. And it has 35,000 original miles. It's been sitting in a climate-controlled warehouse, used only for drag racing by a guy who used to race NHRA. And his widow is selling it, and I buy it. I fly into Indiana, I think I fly into Indiana to buy it. And I meet them, and this should have been very telling. I meet them in an AutoZone. They're supposed to meet me at the airport at the curb. I was going to give them the money and just jump in the truck and leave from the airport, but they meet me at an AutoZone. So we get there. Seems good. It's in really nice shape. Give them the money, take off. 7 or 8 miles later, this thing dies on a bridge uphill crossing a river. And it's 2 lanes and there's no shoulder. And I have to roll backwards down this bridge in the oncoming traffic because there's nowhere to go. And so we're just sitting there rolling backwards with the hazards on, praying. And there's semis swerving at the last second because it's hard to tell when it doesn't have reverse lights, right? It's got taillights, but there's no reverse lights. So it's just a truck that's slowly rolling backwards down a bridge, and everybody at the last minute is realizing what's happening. And they're just like, honking, you know. We make it down off the bridge onto a shoulder, and the cops come. They turn out to be Roadkill fans. That was great. They didn't give me a ticket, but we spent the last 9 hours freezing our nuts off on the side of the road, R&Ring every piece of the fuel system in this thing, trying to get it to run. And finally, we end up buying a 20-gallon boat gas tank and a little click-clack mixture gas at fuel pump and running a hose down the door to the motor to get it running. And we drove it all the way home like that.
Wow.
And we lived. Yeah.
You seem to be enamored by these ramp trucks, right?
Yeah. I got a problem.
Yeah, you got a problem. That
I'm not in denial, though.
No, see?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, first step is admitting you have a problem.
Right.
And then I guess that's it from there. You just keep right on going with it.
Yes, I'm Mike Finnegan. I have a ramp truck problem.
Yep.
The worst problem is nobody looks at them the way I look at them. Like, I actually tried to sell that ramp truck recently. And I think at this point it's got 46,000 original miles on it. And it's mint. It is absolutely beautiful. Like,
that's
the
the
door
white one?
seals. Yeah, the white one. The door seals are soft. It doesn't leak any air in the cab. It's got the original floor mats, like dash pads not cracked. This thing's immaculate. And so I'm looking at this thing going, this thing's great. Somebody else is going to want this. Somebody's going to use this. No. Nobody's buying this truck.
No.
Well, that sounds too good to sell anyhow.
Right.
It would. I'm out of space. I'm legit out of space. And so I just today resigned myself to the fact that I'm going to cut it in half and unramp truck it and just turn it back into a crew cab Chevy truck because I have space for that. And then take the box and weld an A-frame on the front of it, turn it into an enclosed trailer. It's nice. I don't want to get rid of it, but I don't have room for it either.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Nobody else on the planet seems to appreciate it the way I appreciate it.
I think one person appreciates your red ramp truck. That is Chris Doria.
Yep.
He is the owner of Frisco Hill Auto. He's the one that you sold the red ramp truck to.
He's a good dude.
Lincoln Hawk.
And I know a lot of people know that. And he even says that he's driving the thing back from buying it from you. And he said people are whip past him on the highway and then you see the same car slow down and people are taking pictures until they come up to the side and they thought it was you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Chris said,
yeah.
This is fun.
He's like, let me do some dumb stuff. They can blame it on Finnegan.
Yes, exactly.
You ain't Mike Finnegan.
Wait a second. You ain't Mike Finnegan. But yeah, that was super fun. I spent like 8 hours the other day buffing the wheels before he took it to Columbus Good Guys.
I am so sorry.
Yeah.
Because I didn't clean it once the whole time I owned it.
I see that. Thank you very much.
I love that truck. I did not want to get rid of that truck, but I'm out of space.
Yeah.
It's in a good place.
Yeah, I'm really glad he was the one.
Yeah. I took the grill out, painted the grill. We buffed the thing, decaled it up. Man, it shines like a diamond.
Yeah,
I
didn't have to work on it at all. I stood in the AC and looked out at you guys. And
I can see Shawn looking out the window.
that looks hot out there.
It looks
go
hot
back
out
to
there.
my job.
Yeah, sweating balls outside.
Yeah, because that thing's not fitting in most buildings for you to work on it in the comfort of the air
We
conditioning.
tried,
We
and
tried.
the AC thing was too tall for the door.
Yep.
Yeah, I measured it once. It was right at 39 and a half feet long and almost 14 feet tall with the AC on it.
Wow.
Yeah,
It barely fit in my shop. Another guy that at one point was storing it had to let the air out of the tires to get it in his.
We were talking about that, and Chris said, "No, we'll just keep it outside.
Yeah.
John will work on it outside."
Yeah. It's all good.
He didn't like you, did he?
I don't know what I did, but
So is there any vehicles that you've had in the past that you regret selling? Everybody has something they regret selling, from what it seems like anyhow.
I think there's very few I don't regret selling. They're all special. Which one hurt the most? That 97 Tacoma, I would have liked to have held on to. That one, that was one of those. I was dumb. I was broke. Got rid of it, and sadly, it got totaled. Multiple people owned it after me, and it got totaled. I saw pictures of it get totaled, and recently, somebody who has pieces of it put their truck up for sale, and there was like a moment where I was like, "Oh, that might be cool," And so I messaged him, and he sent me some info and pics. And if you lift up the cowl, you can see the graphics that were on the firewall of my old truck. That they're there, and the turbocharged four bangers there. But that's it. I really started thinking about it. I'm like, this really isn't my truck anymore. Like
Right.
the bed, the cab, the interior, everything has been replaced because it got rolled over in a ditch and totaled. So I changed my mind. I thought better of it and went, nah, you're out of space. You don't need another thing in your life. So yeah, it really wasn't mine. It really makes you think about like what makes something yours, And I think once the soul of the car is gone, then it's not really yours anymore. Or like Chris was like, I forgot what he asked me. I think maybe he asked me if he could paint it or change the name of Lincoln Hawk or something. I was like, dude, it's your truck. You do whatever you want. You're not gonna offend me. And I forgot what it was specifically, but I was like, no, this is yours now. You make it yours. Do whatever you want to do.
car guys and girls, they collect everything. I know you have way too many full-size vehicles. You collect Hot Wheels, model cars, die-cast, any other crap?
No, I hold on to pretty much every piece of roadkill memorabilia that anybody ever gives me.
Yeah.
I was the kid that was like jumping all that stuff when I was a kid. So mine were trashed. All my Hot Wheels were trashed. My Army Men got lit on fire. Like there was nothing nice about any of the stuff I owned. And my parents were the kind of parents where like, if you destroyed it, they didn't get you another one, like my big wheel, when I was a kid, like, you did one too many power brake slides and split the front wheel in half. Well, you better duct tape that thing back together because they're not going to buy you another big wheel, which is what I did. So
yeah, definitely. My big wheel had a flat spot in the tire because I would hit the pedals and it'd skid, and you'd ride it and it'd feel like you're riding down the stairs, and what an idiot.
I have a pretty sweet magazine collection, but that was more out of necessity than anything. Yeah. When I moved from California, I was like, all right, I'm not going to take all this stuff with me. So I went to the Long Beach swap meet, which is a great swap meet. And I brought all my CDs that I had ripped digitally onto my laptop. And I took all my CDs and all my magazines with me, and I couldn't give them away. Like none of them. I even offered to carry them to the parking lot for people and
Really?
could not give them. Nobody wanted the magazines. Nobody wanted the CDs. And this is in 2015.
Wow.
14. I moved in 15. So 14, could not give them away. And so I thought, well, I'm not going to throw these things out. So I brought them all home, and they're all in my man cave next to the urinal. And so I just sit there and read. I do admit it.
What are you doing? What do you see the future for Roadkill? What are you guys doing, or if anything, to get the next generation involved? I know you said Roadkill has a wide net for an audience now, 8 to 80 kind of thing. What are you doing to rope in the next generation?
Well, yesterday we just got the green light for season 11, which was cool. So we get to do it for another year, which is awesome. And as far as what am I actively doing, I feel lazy now because I really don't know. I literally don't know. I have 3 jobs, and that's about all I can focus on. And so hopefully one of those 3 jobs attracts some kids to like cars. But beyond that, man, I am tapped out.
Yeah.
Nothing left.
Understood.
No,
Understood.
I get it. And I think just the fact that you're doing that, I mean, not just Roadkill, but Faster with Finnegan and Finnegan's Garage on YouTube. And I think just making it look fun, making it, enjoying what you're doing is probably a pretty good spark for younger viewers.
In that media that'll attract younger folks. So,
But yeah, I think you guys make it seem like a great time.
Yeah.
Attitude is everything.
So if somebody wants to follow you on social media, where can they find you?
I'm on Instagram at Finnegan999, at Mike Finnegan on Facebook. The best way to really see what I'm up to is either Instagram or YouTube, Finnegan's Garage.
I think it's awesome what you guys are doing and getting everybody involved. And thank you for spending some time with us today.
Yep.
Hanging out, talking
guys.
stupid things and car movies and just doing. Yeah. Maybe we learned something. We did learn something. We learned something that Nicole Kidman was in that movie.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Fast food tray, e-blake slides, and
oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
We did learn a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping somebody's taking notes for me. So
yeah, somebody's taking notes somewhere. So awesome. Well, we're gonna call it.
All right. Thank you, fellas.
Shawn, there's hundreds of videos on YouTube now of people doing the stupidest things.
Oh yeah, viral videos.
And you know why we get to see so much of that? Because we have a little recorder in our hand on our phones all the time.
Everybody's recording everything.
Everybody
these days.
records every minute of everything. I'm so glad there wasn't recorders when I was a kid. Oh my God. My brother and I did some stupid stuff.
Yeah.
This one time we took the spare tire out of my grandmother's Thunderbird.
For what reason?
Well, I wanted to play with it.
What?
Yeah, just play with it.
All right. How old were you guys?
I don't know. I was like 8 and he was like a little younger, 6.
And you're playing with a spare tire. All right.
Now, mind you, we didn't have very many toys at Grandma's house. So
what, no video games?
No video games. No, not in the late 70s. And so we had fun. Her yard's pretty long. It's got a gate at the end. And we take it up the back porch, rolling the tire down the stairs. Okay. It's bouncing down the stairs, goes to the end of the yard, hits the gate. Ha, ha, ha. Trade spots. Let's do it again. We're whipping this thing. And obviously everything snowballs. It gets worse and worse, right?
Sure.
So this time I throw the thing as hard as I can. It goes whipping down the stairs, all the way across the yard on the sidewalk, hits the gate blows open, right? This thing circles in the alley and takes off down the alley. Insanity. The alley's on a hill. My brother goes, ah! He's chasing the thing down the alley. and I'm running after him. It makes it all the way down to the next block. And it's like a movie, right? There's cars, there's cars, and the thing goes right between these cars. My brother goes running out in the street. It made it down to the next block and then crashed into a garage.
Oh, man.
We get back and we didn't learn our lesson. We kept doing it. And to this day, my grandmother, she's passed quite a few years ago, but she never found out. I don't even know if my mom and dad know that we did this.
Oh, I bet they do now.
Yeah, they will. They'll hear it on the podcast. But it's absolutely crazy. So my brother and I, we did a lot of dumb stuff when we were a kid, and that's one of the things I wish would have been on a recorder.
Yeah, that would have been fun to watch.
That is a viral video. Make sure you check out our website, getoutandrive.com, for everything you never wanted to know about our podcast.
You can learn more about us. You can buy merchandise. And just check out all the fun stuff on our website.
I'm sure some people out there love to hear us talk. We would love to hear other people talk to us. There's a good way. Our listeners can find it on our website. If you go to getoutandrive.com, scroll to the bottom, you can find the clickable link to our listener hotline button, and you get to talk to us.
So people can leave us messages.
Right.
Praise.
Yes.
Hate mail.
Accolades.
Accolades.
It's called accolades.
Accolades. Gotcha.
Yes. Anybody out there that wants to talk to us?
Yeah, maybe we'll play it on our podcast.
Yeah.
If you have questions, we can answer questions.
Yes, exactly.
Have suggestions?
Yes, suggestions. Talk about life. We can answer life's problems.
No.
No?
Well, Life's Problems is another project car.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
So if you have another project car and it's for sale, let us know what's happening.
Be sure to follow our friends at racingjunk.com. Use the promo code GETOUT to receive 50% off your Pro Club membership. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Like, share, give us your comments. Tag us on Twitter at Get Out and Drive Pod.
What drives you?